While most brains are on autopilot, Sigma males are always in manual control. No one else is steering their thoughts. They are independent thinkers, always questioning and analyzing everything that comes their way. This makes it nearly impossible to brainwash them, even with the most cunning tactics. While others might fall for fancy words or group pressure, these guys are busy doing their own thing. They don't just accept what they're told. They pick it apart, turn it over, and decide for themselves what's what. It's not that they're trying to be difficult. It's just how they're wired. In a world where everyone's trying to sell you something, whether it's an idea or a product, Sigma males are the ones who can see through the smoke and mirrors. Here are 7 reasons why they can't be brainwashed. Number 1. Their gut instinct is louder than any propaganda. Have you ever had a feeling deep down that something just wasn't right, even if everything seemed fine on the surface? For Sigma males, this gut instinct is more than just a feeling. It's a powerful tool that guides them through life. While many people can be influenced by well-crafted propaganda, catchy slogans, or persuasive speeches, these men rely on their inner voice to tell them what's true and what's not. This instinct acts as an internal alarm that goes off whenever something feels off, even if they can't immediately explain why. What sets Sigma males apart is their ability to trust and act on this instinct without hesitation. They don't ignore it or push it aside just because a situation looks good on paper. If their gut is telling them that something doesn't add up, they'll listen to it, and they're not afraid to take a step back to reassess. This makes it much harder for anyone to manipulate them using flashy promises or emotional appeals, because their instinct cuts through the noise, warning them when something doesn't feel genuine. Their strong intuition isn't just a matter of luck. It's the result of experience and self-awareness. Sigma males spend a lot of time observing, reflecting, and learning from past situations. This allows them to pick up on patterns and subtle cues that others might miss. Over time, they've trained themselves to recognize when something feels forced, dishonest, or manipulative, and they've learned to trust that feeling, even when everything else seems convincing. Their gut instinct is also connected to their deep sense of independence. They don't rely on external validation to make decisions, so they don't need to follow the crowd or believe what everyone else believes. This independence frees them from the influence of propaganda because they're not looking for approval or belonging. They're focused on what feels right to them. Their instinct makes them a really tough target for brainwashing, as they simply won't buy into something that doesn't feel right deep down. Number 2. They see through lies before anyone else even notices. You won't believe it, but some people can catch a lie faster than you can blink. While others may fall for a clever story or a flashy promise, there are those whose mind works like a truth-detecting machine. Sigma males have an uncanny ability to see through deception, making them almost impossible to brainwash. While most people might take things at face value, these men don't just listen to words, they analyze the intentions behind them. They have a natural instinct for spotting inconsistencies, lies, and half-truths, even when they're disguised as something positive or attractive. This makes it very difficult to manipulate or deceive them because they quickly recognize when someone is trying to steer their thoughts or actions. It's not about being skeptical just for the sake of it. Sigma men approach everything with a critical mind, asking the right questions and seeking out the facts. They aren't easily swayed by emotional appeals or flashy promises because they know that, often, these are just tactics used to distract or influence. So they focus on substance over style, always looking for what truly matters. In a world full of clever marketing, political spin, and social pressures, this ability to see through lies gives Sigma men an edge. They're not afraid to question authority or challenge popular beliefs if something doesn't add up. This instinctive skepticism keeps them from blindly following the crowd and makes them less susceptible to manipulation. This sharp mindset helps them to remain in control of their own thoughts, no matter how persuasive the outside world tries to be. Number 3. They smell fake news a mile away. It's almost like they have a sixth sense. While most people might scroll through social media and get hooked by a catchy headline, Sigma males are already rolling their eyes at the clear exaggeration or misinformation. They're the ones who won't fall for clickbait or sensationalism because they have a built-in filter for spotting fake news. Instead of just absorbing information, they're constantly verifying it, cross-checking details, and looking for inconsistencies. This sharp attention to truth makes it nearly impossible to sway them with misleading information. These men understand that not everything you read or see can be trusted. They're aware of how information is packaged to manipulate emotions, influence opinions, or drive a certain agenda. Rather than taking things at face value, they prefer to dig deeper, asking why something is being presented in a particular way. This mindset allows them to see the underlying motives behind the message and quickly identify if someone is trying to play them. Another reason they can spot fake news so easily is that they stay informed. Sigma males don't just rely on one source of information. They read from various outlets, compare perspectives, and get to the core of the issue. Diversifying their sources of information prevents them from getting trapped in echo chambers where the same ideas are repeated over and over. What really sets them apart is their ability to detect subtle manipulation tactics. It could be a slight change in wording, a photo taken out of context, or an emotional appeal crafted to divert attention from the facts. Sigma males pick up on these nuances because they're naturally observant and analytical. They're always on alert, knowing that misinformation is everywhere, and it's up to them to filter out the truth. Number 4. They're immune to the herd mentality. Have you ever noticed how most people just go with the flow, even when it's leading them in the wrong direction? Sigma males are different. They're the ones who walk against the tide, even if it means standing alone. While the majority might follow trends, opinions, or social norms without question, these men are immune to this herd mentality. They aren't swayed by what everyone else is doing. They stick to their own path, even if it makes them look like the odd one out. The reason they resist herd mentality is because they value their independence above all. They don't need validation from others to feel confident about their choices. While many people crave acceptance and try to fit in by copying what's popular, Sigma males are secure in who they are, which allows them to make decisions without worrying about social pressure. This self-assurance makes them stand out, and it's one of the key reasons why they can't be easily manipulated or brainwashed. They also have a strong sense of individuality. They believe in forming their own opinions based on facts, personal experiences, and deep thinking, rather than just absorbing what the crowd believes. They actively seek out different perspectives, not to follow them, but to challenge their own views and refine their understanding. This openness to diverse ideas, coupled with their refusal to conform, shields them from the influence of groupthink. What makes them even more resistant to the herd mentality is their preference for solitude. Sigma males aren't afraid to be alone, and in fact, they often thrive in their own company. This gives them the time and space to think clearly, without the noise of other people's opinions clouding their judgment. Number 5. Their sharp logic slices through manipulation. Sigma males have a way of cutting through manipulation with surgical precision. While others might get caught up in clever wordplay or emotional tactics, Sigmas rely on pure logic to see through the tricks. They don't get lost in the fluff or distraction. They just focus on what really matters, the facts. This clear-headed approach allows them to recognize when someone is trying to sway their opinions or actions with deceptive tactics. Their logical mindset helps them break down complex situations and spot inconsistencies that others might overlook. They can quickly dissect an argument, identify weak points, and expose hidden motives. This makes it incredibly hard for anyone to manipulate them because they won't be fooled by vague promises or subtle coercion. Another reason their logic keeps them immune to brainwashing is their ability to stay calm under pressure. These men don't let their emotions take over when someone is trying to influence them. They step back, assess the situation rationally, and respond with reason, not reaction. That's why they're often the voice of reason in heated debates, able to bring a balanced perspective and prevent others from being swayed by emotional tactics. Number 6. They're not afraid to ask the tough questions. Sigma males are the ones who aren't satisfied with simple answers. When something doesn't make sense, they're not afraid to dig deeper and ask the tough questions that others might avoid. While most people might nod along to avoid conflict or discomfort, Sigma males don't mind pushing the boundaries to uncover the truth. They're not worried about making others uncomfortable if it means getting to the heart of the matter. That's why it's so hard for anyone to mislead or deceive them. Brainwashing tactics often rely on people not questioning what they're told, whether it's a sales pitch, a political message, or even social norms. However, Sigma men are always questioning and seeking to understand, no matter the topic. If they don't know something, they'll admit it and seek out the answers themselves rather than blindly accepting what others tell them. They're not interested in sugar-coated responses. They want real, straightforward answers. This makes them a tough target because they won't be misled by half-truths or vague explanations. People often misinterpret this as stubbornness or arrogance, thinking that these men are difficult just for the sake of being difficult. Sigma males are often labeled as troublemakers or rebels because they don't just go with the flow. And that's exactly why they're so hard to brainwash. Their critical thinking skills and natural curiosity make them immune to manipulation, and they'll do whatever it takes to protect their independence and integrity. Number 7. They look for hidden motives in persuasive messages. When people hear a convincing argument, many just accept it as truth. But if you're a Sigma, you know that things are rarely as simple as they seem. While there's some truth in every message, there's also often a hidden motive behind it. Whether it's to sell a product, gain power, or push an agenda, there's always a reason why someone is trying to persuade you. Something that's presented as a solution might actually serve someone else's interests or have unintended consequences. Sure, not everyone has bad intentions, but that doesn't mean you should blindly trust every message you hear. While Sigma men are not cynical or paranoid, they're also not naive. This makes them much harder to brainwash because they don't just focus on what's being said. They also analyze who is saying it and why. This isn't just about not trusting others. It's about being aware, mindful, and cautious. They recognize patterns, spot contradictions, and think critically, which makes it difficult for anyone to influence them without a solid, honest argument.